Hi, meet us again on the YF Avengers channel. A B-2 Spirit stealth bomber rolled off the runway at Whiteman Air Force Base in Missouri during an emergency landing Tuesday morning, but the extent of the damage done to the aircraft remains unclear. Air Force Global Strike Command spokesman Jennifer Green said in an email Tuesday afternoon that the bomber had an in-flight malfunction during a training mission and conducted an emergency landing at about 12:30 a.m. that morning. Green said the bomber was damaged on the runway, but nobody was injured and no fire broke out. But Global Strike declined to answer questions about the nature of the malfunction or the aircraft's damage, citing the ongoing investigation into the mishap. The Warzone website on Wednesday posted an aerial image of the scene at Whiteman's runway, which shows the bomber was off the runway. The aircraft is also heavily leaning to its left in the image, with the wingtip either touching the ground or very close to it. Colonel Brus Vidal, head of public affairs for Global Strike Command, confirmed Thursday morning that the plane rolled off the runway during its emergency landing. But Vidal could not comment on other details about what led the B-2 to malfunction and end up off the runway, which will be confirmed by the investigation. He said the investigation would likely be done before the typical 30-day timeline for investigations. B-2 bombers, which are capable of carrying nuclear weapons, have special coatings and materials that give it stealth capabilities. It is unclear whether, and to what extent, the expensive and sensitive coatings on this B-2 may have been damaged. The aircraft was sitting exposed to the elements in the aerial images, contrary to their usual storage inside hangars to protect the coatings. Sometimes the Air Force leaves aircraft that have been damaged in a mishap in place while the investigation is conducted. But because of the sensitivity of this B-2's skin, it is likely Whiteman will move it to a hangar, possibly as soon as Thursday. The B-21, going into the future, is going to be our penetrating, get inside the anti-access, area of denial, dual-capable aircraft, he said. Different types of technologies were also explored so that they could be integrated ahead of the aircraft's first flight. So in the B-21, for example, there's technologies that are explored that we can reduce through other platforms, potentially, and integrate ahead of the aircraft even flying. And so it's kind of an exciting way to get back to that models-based systems engineering, that has kind of opened up some possibilities on sustainment, interacting with the environment in ways that are really useful to the future systems, he enthusiastically explained. He further stated that the rollout of the new aircraft will be sometime in 2022 and will be prepared for its first flight shortly afterward. The unveiling of the new aircraft will be the first public showcase of a new Air Force bomber in over 3 decades since the B-2 Spirit bomber was also unveiled in Northrop Grumman's Air Force Plant 41 in November 1988. It was not confirmed how many B-21s would be produced. However, the U.S. Air Force back in 2021 had stated that it would acquire at least 145 B-21 Raiders to supplant the existing B-2 Spirit stealth bomber fleet as well as the venerable B-1Bs. I think that is a reasonable number at this point. We're a long way from achieving that, and requirements may change over time, but as a basis to manage the program, I think that's reasonable right now, said Kendall. The B-1, B-2, and B-52 aircraft not just known for dropping warheads on foreheads by the U.S. Air Force but are also an instrument of power projection by the United States. All are slated to remain in service until they are slowly phased out, being replaced by the B-21 Raider somewhere between the mid-2020s to 2040, characterized by its long-range strike capabilities of deploying conventional and nuclear munitions as well as its capabilities for electronic warfare. The new stealth bomber will be a definite game-changer to 21st-century aviation and warfare. But during this transition, it is of no question that the new B-21 will be flying with its older bomber brothers in what is to be a historic set of flights. Despite the low number of people allowed to attend, the Super Bowl, as usual, was a spectacle to watch, not only on the field, but also in the sky, where the U.S. Air Force put on a mammoth show, with all the most impressive Bs presently in service going for a flyover of the Raymond James Stadium. The Bs, or the bomber trifecta as the military calls these beasts, are the B-1B Lancer, B-2 Spirit and B-52 Stratofortress, all of them present in the skies over Tampa, Florida, in February last year, for the first time ever at a sporting event. And even if they were there to be part of the show, none of them were capable of looking other than deadly, as clearly illustrated by the main photo of this piece. It was taken back in February last year and published recently by the USAF as part of its Year in Photos album. It shows two B-1B Lancers deployed with the Ellsworth Air Force Base in South Dakota, on their way to join the Spirit and Stratofortress for the flyover. The aerial display did not involve only these planes flying over the stadium. Because South Dakota is not exactly next door to Florida, the USAF had to deploy the 91st Air Refueling Squadron to keep them flying to their target and back. Thank you for watching this video until it's finished. I wish you all the best.